Okay, so have you ever, like, wondered what the real difference is between an associate professor and a professor?
Mm.
I mean, we're not talking like, number of books on their shelves or how much
Mm.
coffee they drink.
Right, right.
But we're going to take a deep dive today with some help from academicjobs.com to understand these, like, distinct stages of an academic career.
Yeah.
Are you ready to decode the academic hierarchy with me?
I am so ready. Let's do it.
Awesome. So it sounds like it's way more than just like a title change, right?
Absolutely. There are tangible differences in responsibilities, influence, even that kind of freedom that you have in your research.
Okay, so I'm looking at the source material here, and one big difference pops out right away.
Mm.
Tenure.
Yeah.
So is tenure like the key to unlocking this mystery?
I'd say tenure is definitely a defining factor. You can think of associate professors as being on this quest for that coveted status.
Okay.
They're building their reputations through their teaching, research, their publications,
Right.
all while they're trying to meet these rigorous standards for tenure.
Yeah.
Professors, on the other hand, have already reached that peak.
Yeah.
They've earned that security and the academic freedom that comes with tenure. And it lets them pursue their passions without that constant pressure of evaluation.
So it's almost like associate professors are these knights on a quest proving they're worthwhile. Professors have already kind of earned their knighthood and have more freedom to explore the kingdom.
I love that analogy. I think that's a really great way to put it. It really highlights the different stages of an academic career.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that, this isn't just some abstract concept.
Uh-huh.
This directly impacts an academic's daily life, their influence in the university, even their job security.
Gotcha. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty then. What does a typical day look like for each role? What are they actually doing all day?
So both roles involve this really dynamic blend of teaching, research, and administrative tasks.
Yeah.
But the emphasis and level of responsibility can shift depending on where you are on that academic ladder.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So academicjobs.com is saying that associate professors are kind of like these academic jugglers,
Yeah.
constantly switching between teaching, mentoring students, conducting research, and even scrambling to secure funding for their projects.
Right.
It sounds like a whirlwind.
It is. It definitely keeps them on their toes. And this is often a period of intense productivity, as they build their portfolio and work towards that ultimate goal of tenure.
Yeah. So what about professors? Are they just kind of sipping tea in their offices, reflecting on their accomplishments?
Not exactly. They still have those core responsibilities, but they often take on broader leadership roles.
Okay.
So, for example, they might head research teams,
Mm-hmm.
mentor graduate students, have more influence over the departmental curriculum, or even take on administrative roles within the university.
So they're moving from that individual contributor level to kind of guiding and shaping the work of others.
That's a good way to put it. They've established themselves as experts in their field, and now they're using that expertise to guide that next generation of scholars and influence the direction of their department.
And, one thing that I think often gets overlooked is the amount of writing involved in both roles.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not all tweed jackets and thought-provoking lectures.
Definitely not.
Right.
Both associate professors and professors spend a significant amount of time crafting grant proposals, publishing their research findings,
Yeah.
writing recommendations for students, and, contributing to the academic discourse through their writing.
So aspiring academics, if you're not a fan of writing, you might want to reconsider.
Strong writing skills are absolutely essential in academia. It's the primary way we communicate our ideas, share our research, and contribute to the ongoing conversation within our fields.
Absolutely. Now, how does someone actually climb this academic ladder? I mean, it's obviously not as simple as just showing up with a diploma and declaring yourself a professor.
Right. You're absolutely right. It's a journey that takes years of dedicated effort and a strategic approach to building your career.
So what does that path actually look like? What are the steps involved in reaching those coveted positions?
Well, a doctorate is the non-negotiable starting point for both roles. But the path usually begins long before that, with careful planning during your undergraduate years to lay the groundwork for specialized graduate studies.
So you can't just waltz into a doctoral program without a solid foundation.
It's a lot easier if you've already started focusing your interests during your undergraduate years.
Okay.
Choose a major that aligns with your long-term goals and use electives or minors to explore related areas that might pique your interest. Think of it as building a strong base camp before you summit Mount Doctorate.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't climb Everest without proper training and equipment, right?
Exactly. And speaking of training, most graduate programs strongly encourage or even require internships. And
Right.
these practical experiences can be invaluable for aspiring professors, especially those that provide teaching experience.
So it's about getting out of the theoretical and into the real world of the classroom.
Precisely. It's a chance to observe experienced professors in action, develop your own teaching style, and gain a deeper understanding of the dynamics of a university classroom.
I can imagine that first lecture can be pretty daunting if you've never actually stood in front of a classroom before.
Absolutely. Internships are a great way to gain confidence and hone those essential teaching skills.
Okay. And then it's on to the doctoral program, which is really the heart of your training as an academic.
Right.
So let's talk about that doctoral program. It seems like it's more than just earning another degree. What does it actually entail?
A doctorate signifies a deep dive into a specific field of study. It's not just about accumulating knowledge, it's about learning to conduct original research, contribute new insights to your field, and communicate your findings in a clear and scholarly manner.
So it's about becoming a producer of knowledge rather than just a consumer.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating that you've mastered the research process. You can think critically and independently, and you can articulate your ideas in a way that contributes to the academic community.
But even after all that, the journey isn't over, right? Earning a doctorate is just one step on the path to becoming a professor.
You're right. Those years as an associate professor are all about putting that doctoral level training into practice. It's a time to refine your teaching skills, establish your research agenda, and build your reputation within your field. And remember, the entire time you're working towards tenure, which adds another layer of pressure and motivation.
So you're constantly learning, growing, and proving yourself, even after you've earned the highest academic degree.
That's the beauty of academia. It's a lifelong pursuit of knowledge and a constant challenge to push the boundaries of our understanding.
Speaking of challenges, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the job market. What's the outlook for aspiring professors? Is there even room for all these brilliant minds?
That's a valid concern. The academic job market is competitive, but it's not as bleak as some people might think.
Okay, what does our source from academicjobs.com say about this?
The Bureau of Labor Statistics actually projects healthy growth in post-secondary teaching jobs over the next decade. This indicates a strong demand for qualified educators, particularly at the university level.
That's encouraging news, but I imagine certain fields are more in demand than others, right?
Absolutely. Fields that are experiencing rapid growth or facing a shortage of qualified professionals tend to have more robust job markets.
So it's important to be aware of the trends in your chosen field and to tailor your skills and research to areas where there's a genuine need.
Exactly. Strategic planning and a bit of market awareness can go a long way in navigating the academic job market.
Now, let's be honest, there's one question everyone is dying to ask when considering a career path.
I think I know where you're going with this.
You got it. Let's talk about the financial side of things. What kind of salary can someone expect as an associate professor versus a professor?
Well, while passion for teaching and research should ideally be the primary driving force, it's understandable to be curious about the financial realities of these roles.
Let's be real. Practical considerations matter, especially when you've invested so much time and energy into your education. What insights does our source offer on this front?
The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that the median salary for professors in the U.S. is around $79,640. Not too shabby. But it's important to note that this is just a median figure. The actual salary can vary widely based on experience, location, the specific institution, and even the subject you teach.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation when it comes to professor salary.
Exactly. There are a lot of factors that come into play. For example, professors in high-demand fields like engineering, law, or business often command higher salaries than those in fields like humanities or education.
That makes sense. Supply and demand play a role even in academia.
Absolutely. And certain institutions, particularly prestigious private universities or those with large endowments, are often able to offer more competitive salaries to attract top talent.
So location and the type of institution can also impact your earning potential.
Definitely. It's important to consider all these factors when evaluating job offers and negotiating your salary.
Now, to give our listeners a sense of the range, our source reveals some interesting tidbits. Did you know that law professors can rake in over $100,000 per year? Engineering and economics professors aren't far behind, with salaries often exceeding six figures.
Yeah, those fields often reflect market demand and the specialized nature of the expertise.
On the flip side, professors in fields like political science or biology tend to earn a bit less, with average salaries hovering around $81,500. It's fascinating to see how these external factors influence earning potential even within the seemingly sheltered world of academia.
It really highlights the complex interplay of market forces, societal values, and the perceived importance of different fields of knowledge.
So for our listeners out there, are your professorial dreams burning even brighter now?
Yeah.
Is all this talk of tenure research and decent salaries fueling your academic ambitions?
It's certainly a path that requires dedication and perseverance, but the rewards can be incredibly fulfilling.
And if this deep dive has you yearning for a life of lectures, research, and shaping young minds, then guess what? You don't have to navigate this complex world alone.
That's right. Academicjobs.com is an invaluable resource for anyone considering an academic career.
It's your one-stop shop for exploring the diverse landscape of higher education, from finding those first associate professor positions that set you on the path to tenure, to discovering those coveted full professor roles where you can truly make your mark on your field.
It's an incredible tool for connecting with universities, learning about different departments, and finding opportunities that align with your interests and expertise.
So whether you're dreaming of unraveling the mysteries of ancient civilizations, analyzing the complexities of the human genome, or exploring the frontiers of artificial intelligence, academicjobs.com can help you take that next step towards your academic dreams.
It's like having a map and a compass to guide you through the sometimes daunting landscape of higher education.
Well, I think it's time we take a little break to process all this information. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to delve deeper into the world of associate professors and professors.
Sounds good. Welcome back to our deep dive.
All right, so I think we've covered a lot of ground so far, from the quest for tenure to the realities of that academic job market. But
Yeah.
I'd love to kind of dive deeper into the qualifications. What does it actually take to become an associate professor or professor?
Yeah, you're hitting on a key point.
Mm-hmm.
The journey to professorship is built on this foundation of education experience and a very specific set of skills.
Right.
So let's break those down.
Okay, so it sounds like it's not just about collecting degrees.
No, not at all.
Our source from academicjobs.com is making it pretty clear that there's a lot more to it than just hitting the books.
It's a multifaceted process that involves this strategic blend of academic pursuits and practical experience. As we mentioned earlier, a doctorate is like the baseline requirement,
Yeah.
but the path usually starts long before that.
So you're saying those undergraduate years are more than just a time to explore different subjects and find your passion.
They are. It's crucial to use those years to lay a strong foundation for your future graduate studies.
Okay.
Choose a major that aligns with your long-term goals and use electives or minors to explore related areas that might, spark your interest. It's all about building that solid academic base camp before you attempt to summit Mount Doctorate.
I love that analogy. Like you wouldn't climb Everest without proper training and equipment.
Exactly.
And I imagine those early years are also a good time to connect with professors and mentors who can kind of guide you along the way.
Absolutely. Building relationships with professors in your field can be invaluable. They can offer advice, open doors to research opportunities, write those all-important letters of recommendation when you apply to graduate programs.
Yeah, our source also highlights the importance of internships and practical experience. Is that something you'd recommend for aspiring academics?
I can't emphasize enough how valuable internships can be, especially for those who want to pursue a career in academia. Look for internships that provide hands-on experience in a university setting.
So you're not just talking about fetching coffee and making copies.
Definitely not. Seek out internships where you can observe experienced professors in action, assist with teaching or grading, or even get involved in research projects.
It's about immersing yourself in that academic world and getting a taste of what that life is really like.
Precisely. And for aspiring professors, teaching internships are particularly valuable.
Okay.
They provide an opportunity to develop those essential classroom skills and gain confidence in front of a group of students.
I imagine that first lecture can be pretty nerve-wracking if you've never had any practical teaching experience.
Yeah, internships are a great way to get over those initial jitters and hone your teaching style. They can also give you valuable insights into the dynamics of a university classroom and the challenges of engaging different types of learners.
So internships are like a dress rehearsal for the main event of becoming a professor.
That's a great way to put it. And once you've gained that practical experience, it's time to tackle the big one, the doctoral program.
Right, the doctoral program is where it all comes together. It's the ultimate test of your academic abilities and your commitment to a particular field of study.
It's a rigorous and demanding process, but it's also incredibly rewarding.
Right.
A doctorate signifies not just a deep understanding of your subject matter, but also the ability to conduct original research, contribute new insights to your field, and communicate your findings in a clear and scholarly manner.
So it's about becoming a true expert and adding your own unique voice to the ongoing conversation within your field.
Exactly. A doctorate is a testament to your intellectual curiosity, your perseverance, and your ability to think critically and independently. It's a journey of self-discovery as much as it is about mastering a particular subject.
And it's a journey that doesn't end with graduation, does it? Earning a doctorate is just one step on the path to becoming a professor.
You're absolutely right. Those years as an associate professor are all about putting your doctoral level training into practice.
Okay.
It's a time to refine your teaching skills, establish your research agenda, and build your reputation within your field. And remember, the entire time you're working towards tenure, which adds another layer of pressure and motivation.
So it's a constant process of learning, growing, and proving yourself even after you've earned the highest academic degree.
That's what makes academia such a dynamic and challenging field. It's never a dull moment.
All right. Speaking of challenges, let's talk about the specific skills that are essential for success in these roles. What sets apart the truly exceptional associate professors and professors from the rest?
Well, there are several key areas that are essential for excelling in these positions, and some of them might surprise you.
And intrigued.
Obviously, teaching is at the forefront.
Teaching seems pretty straightforward, right? You stand in front of a classroom and share your knowledge.
It's more than just delivering information. Effective teaching involves creating engaging lesson plans, fostering a stimulating learning environment, adapting to diverse learning styles, and mentoring students individually. It's a multifaceted skill that requires both passion and a deep understanding of pedagogy.
So you need to be a master communicator, a mentor, and almost a performer in a way.
That's a great way to put it. You need to capture your students' attention, spark their curiosity, and guide them through the complexities of the subject matter. And you need to be able to connect with students on an individual level and support their learning journeys.
And research is another core skill, right? It's what drives the advancement of knowledge and distinguishes universities from other educational institutions.
Research is absolutely at the heart of academia. It's about pushing the boundaries of our understanding, exploring new ideas, and contributing to the body of knowledge within our fields.
But research isn't just about having brilliant ideas, is it? It's a systematic and often rigorous process.
Exactly. It involves identifying research questions, designing studies, collecting and analyzing data, and drawing meaningful conclusions. And it requires persistence, analytical thinking, and meticulous attention to detail.
So you need to be organized, methodical, and able to sift through mountains of data to find those nuggets of insight.
You hit the nail on the head. And this is where it gets interesting. Technical skills are also becoming increasingly important in both roles.
Technical skills. Now, that's not something people typically associate with professors. We tend to picture them surrounded by books and lost in thought, not hunched over computers.
You might be surprised by how tech-savvy professors need to be these days.
Really?
They use computers for everything from research and data analysis to communication and teaching. They might need to use specialized software for statistical analysis modeling, or even creating presentations and online course materials.
So being comfortable with technology is no longer optional in the academic world.
It's becoming essential, especially as technology continues to advance and reshape the way we teach and learn. Professors who can embrace new technologies and integrate them into their work will have a distinct advantage.
I never really thought about it that way, but it makes sense. Technology is transforming every aspect of our lives, and academia is no exception.
Exactly. And here's another skill that's often overlooked: presentation skills.
Oh yes, the dreaded presentations. Public speaking is a nightmare for some people.
I understand the fear, but in academia, strong presentation skills are a must. Whether you're lecturing to a classroom full of students, presenting your research findings at a conference, or even pitching a project to secure funding, the ability to articulate your ideas clearly, concisely, and engagingly is crucial.
So you need to be able to capture your audience's attention, make complex ideas accessible, and maybe even inject a bit of personality into those presentations.
Precisely. And both associate professors and professors have ample opportunities to hone those presentation skills throughout their careers. Conferences, departmental meetings, guest lectures, it's all about sharing your knowledge and engaging with your peers in a compelling way.
It sounds like a crash course in public speaking is a good investment for any aspiring academic.
I couldn't agree more. Learning to communicate effectively is essential for success in academia. And finally, there's one more skill that's often underestimated: mentoring.
Mentoring. Isn't that something you do in your spare time if you have any?
Mentoring is an integral part of both roles, particularly for professors who often guide graduate students through their research and dissertation process.
Okay.
It's about fostering the next generation of scholars and sharing your expertise and experience.
So it's about being a guide, a supporter, and almost a cheerleader for those budding academics.
Exactly. Effective mentoring involves providing constructive feedback, fostering intellectual growth, and helping students navigate the challenges of academic life. It's a skill that combines teaching research expertise and a genuine passion for nurturing the next generation of scholars.
It sounds like a truly rewarding aspect of these roles.
It's incredibly fulfilling to see your students grow, develop their own research interests, and contribute to the field in their own unique ways. It's one of the most satisfying aspects of being a professor.
So to sum it up, becoming a professor, whether an associate professor or a full professor, is a journey that demands dedication, perseverance, and a diverse skill set.
Yes.
It's not just about being brilliant, it's about being a well-rounded academic who can teach research, write, present, and mentor effectively.
It's a path that requires intellectual curiosity, a passion for knowledge, and a commitment to shaping the minds of future generations.
Well said. And for anyone out there who's been bitten by the academic bug, remember, academicjobs.com is a fantastic resource for finding those professor and associate professor positions that will launch your career.
It's true. Whether you're just starting your journey or you're a seasoned academic looking for new opportunities, it's a valuable tool for exploring the diverse landscape of higher education.
So if all this talk about academia has you daydreaming about lecture halls and research labs, head over to academicjobs.com. It's the perfect place to jumpstart your professorial aspirations.
And remember, the academic world is constantly evolving. New fields of study are emerging, interdisciplinary approaches are gaining traction, and technology is reshaping the way we teach and learn.
That's so exciting. It means there are endless possibilities for aspiring professors to make their mark. Who knows what groundbreaking discoveries or innovative teaching methods are just waiting to be explored.
It's an exciting time to be part of the academic community, contributing to the advancement of knowledge and shaping the minds of future generations.
Well said. And on that inspiring note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. We hope you found it enlightening and maybe even sparked a few professorial dreams along the way.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and never stop questioning the world around you.
Thanks for joining us. All right, so welcome back to our deep dive into the world of academia.
Yeah.
I hope you're feeling inspired to pursue your own professorial dreams.
Me too.
We've explored a lot of interesting aspects of these roles, from the daily grind to the skills you need to actually succeed.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I kind of want to touch on something we haven't really discussed yet, and that is the different types of professorships.
Right.
Because I think, I've been assuming that professor was like a pretty standard title, but
Yeah.
it sounds like there's some variations within that category.
Yeah, you're right. Not all professorships are created equal. The specific title and responsibilities can really vary depending on the institution and the field of study.
So let's unpack that a bit.
Yeah.
What are some of the different types of professorships that someone might encounter?
Okay, well, you have the traditional ranks,
Yeah.
assistant professor, associate professor, and full professor.
Right.
We've talked about those extensively.
Yeah.
But there are also these other titles like adjunct professor, visiting professor, and professor emeritus.
Okay, those sound intriguing.
Yeah.
What are the key differences between these roles?
Yeah, so an adjunct professor, for example, is typically a part-time instructor who may also have a primary career outside of academia.
Oh, so they're bringing real-world experience into the classroom.
Exactly. They might be working professionals, researchers, or even artists who share their specialized knowledge with students.
Okay, and what about a visiting professor? Does that mean they're just dropping by for a semester or two?
Essentially, yes. A visiting professor is often invited to teach at a university for a limited period, usually like a semester or a year.
Okay.
They might be scholars from other institutions, researchers from industry, or even renowned experts in their field.
So they're bringing in kind of a fresh perspective and injecting a bit of variety into the academic landscape.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of having visiting professors. They offer students this unique opportunity to learn from individuals who are at the forefront of their fields.
And finally, what about those professor emeritus titles? I've
Yeah.
always wondered what that signifies.
Professor Emeritus is an honorary title that's bestowed upon retired professors who have made significant contributions to their fields and to the university.
So it's like a lifetime achievement award in the academic world.
You could think of it that way. It's a way for universities to acknowledge the lasting impact of these distinguished scholars.
Yeah, that's a great way to honor those who have dedicated their lives to teaching and research.
Right.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of academia, I just want to encourage all of our listeners who are feeling inspired to explore their own professorial aspirations.
Yes, definitely.
It's a challenging but incredibly rewarding path. And remember, you don't have to navigate this complex world alone.
Right.
Academicjobs.com is a fantastic resource for finding those professor and associate professor
It
positions.
really is.
It's a one-stop shop for exploring the diverse landscape of higher education, from teaching-focused roles at small liberal arts colleges to research-intensive positions at major universities.
Yeah, and it's the perfect place to discover the many possibilities that await you in the academic world.
So whether you're dreaming of, unraveling the mysteries of the universe, analyzing the complexities of human behavior, or creating groundbreaking works of art,
Hmm.
remember that a career in higher education might be the perfect fit for you.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one standing at the front of a lecture hall inspiring the next generation of scholars.
That's a wonderful thought. And on that inspiring note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of associate professors and professors. We hope you found it insightful, informative, and maybe even a little bit motivating.
Until next time, keep those academic dreams alive and happy learning.
Thanks for joining us.